Hey everybody, and welcome back to LoveBytes with Koivu and Ellohime. Sorry about that, I had to go take a quick call. Ello, what's up?
Sorry about that. For those of you, I may have been looking at Koibu's chat, thinking it was my chat for a while. So if you were over at my chat and I didn't actually respond to you, it was because I'm a failure as a broadcaster, and a person. So, but yeah, for those of you who were watching, I apologize. I made a mistake. So here we are.
Oh,
Hey everyone, hello.
are you ready for our next question?
Yeah, I am ready for our next question as well.
Our next question comes from a caller or a writer named Joan. Hi, Neil and mighty guest. You get a cool name. I have an interesting solution or a situation for you to ponder on. I have been with my boyfriend for 5 years. I knew my best friend was in love with him in the past, but I thought she'd get over it. Yes, I know, you already know what's coming. A few months back, she told us she'd been in love with him from the moment she met him, and now she can't deal with it anymore. She asked us if we would want to be in a polyamorous relationship with her. She said she's in love with me too. Bet you didn't see that coming, though. She said that if we say no, she needs to move to another country to not be near us. So it was either losing my best friend and endangering my livelihood as we are working together on a project, or date her. I was scared. My boyfriend was scared. I love my best friend, but I don't know if it's if it's the same love you need for a relationship. I'm not sexually attracted to her most of the time. We decided we will try to be in a relationship with her and see if it's something we want to do. I noticed that I am very jealous. They didn't have sex yet, but they did some sexual things and it made me feel scared and angry. She's also quite impatient. She says she understands that this is an unusual situation for us, but she wants to be treated by him the same way he treats me. It sounds silly to me because our relationship did grow over the years and the relationship with her is just starting. I don't want to lose either of them. What should I do? Oh my god, what
Hold on,
you should do is...
real quick. Can you do me a favor and read the first like 2 or 3 sentences to this?
Absolutely.
Because I was flexing and when you said mighty and I was really into myself and I wasn't listening and I'm sorry. So
Not a problem.
Okay, so then and that kind of built all off of that. So let's
just read the whole thing over again.
Wow.
Hi, Neil.
You can summarize it.
Hi, Neil and mighty guest. I have an interesting situation for you to ponder on. I've been with my boyfriend for 5 years. I knew my best friend was in love with him in the past, but thought that she got over it. A few months back, she told us she's been in love with him from the moment they met, and now she can't deal with it anymore. She wants to ask if we can be in a polyamorous relationship with her. She said that she's in love with me too. She said that if we say no, she needs to move to another country to not be near us, so it was either losing my best friend and potentially my livelihood as they're working on a project together, or to date her. She was a little bit scared. Her boyfriend was scared, but they decided to go for it. While the writer is not really sexually attracted to her best friend most of the time, they went for it anyway. There's some minorly sexual thing or some sexual things happening between the best friend and the boyfriend, but there's no like actual intercourse. You know, there's none of this going on.
Yeah, there's no dick and vagina. Okay.
Right.
So okay. I think I get this. So they are together for 5 years. Holy
5
crap, that's
years.
a long time. And then all of a sudden, their friend is like, "Listen," she fucking throws an ultimatum down. You're either going to accept me into your relationship or I'm moving to another country.
Abandon the best friend.
While she is in not just abandoning best friend, but also there's business wrapped up in this as well. So you've got a business side to this too.
I'm saying abandon the best friend. She's not your best friend.
You're saying abandon the best friend.
Oh yeah, fuck this shit. No way. Her. You're letting someone blackmail you into sleeping with your boyfriend? What the fuck is that? Get the fuck out.
I think you're starting in the wrong frame of mind. Okay, let's start from the top.
Okay.
Congratulations to that wonderful boyfriend and individual. Good job. Good luck. Have fun with that. Now we can start addressing the other issues here that are presented to us, because I just want to take a moment to, just congratulate the boyfriend. He's in a situation that maybe some of us other men would want.
I don't think you're looking at this the right way, man. Do you want to be the guy like, oh yeah, I totally just had sex with your best friend? No, we're in a polyamorous relationship now. What do you mean it's not okay? Oh, no, do you want this? Do you really want to be in a situation where there's 2 girls who are fighting over having sex with you? It sounds nice, but then you actually have to deal with the situation. It's like glorious moments interrupted by utter hell. Think about it, man. That would be
I know.
awful.
Listen, you're right. You're right.
That would be
You're right.
terrible.
You're right. You're right.
Oh my god, it's just making my
Let's
heart
take
beat.
a step.
Oh
Let's
my
take a step.
god.
Let's take a step back. Okay. Let's
Okay,
take a step back.
let's take a
Once
step
again.
back. Whew.
There's so much to say about this, and we could really be here for a while talking about this. But if we're on a serious note, your best friend sounds, and I don't know, okay, she sounds a little unstable. Okay. I'm 99% sure that if you did not accept this girl into your relationship, your best friend, I do not think she's gonna move to another country. Okay. That's a weird kind of ultimatum thing to throw out. Call her on it. See if she actually will move to another country. She's not gonna move to another country to be away from them. She could move to another county. It's really, you're not going to run into somebody in another county. Why another country? It's so dramatic. This girl sounds very dramatic.
Run away. Run away. Be like, yeah, you know what? Maybe you should move to another country. No, you can't date my boyfriend. Oh, you're jealous of the relationship that I've worked for 5 years that I built with him. You're jealous of our trust and the way that he treats me because I've been dealing with him for 5 years. You can't just come in and expect a 5-year relationship to all of a sudden be dropped in your lap. That is utter bullshit. This person is a crazy bitch. Yes, bitch is the appropriate term to use here. Yes, crazy is the appropriate term to use here. I'm not just applying the label of crazy bitch to some woman. No, she is crazy and she's a bitch. You should drop everything, run away, set fire to her belongings if she leaves them at your house, and then tell your boyfriend, let's never speak of this again. This was the worst decision we've ever made in our lives. I'm so glad she's gone. No, you cannot name our firstborn daughter after her. Done.
Next question.
All right.
You know what, Neil? I have no arguments on that whatsoever. Somebody asked, is this gaming related? Yeah, all the 3 people in the situation are gamers. So
many of these questions happen to be gaming related. Some of them happen not to be. Most of them are gaming related because they are all gamers asking them, and gamers are a constantly disenfranchised group in the terms of romance and relationships. We all start off a few miles behind everyone else in the great foot race of life. So we're elevating gamers here by teaching them how to be normal people in society and how to get in relationships, thus breeding more gamers and elevating gaming together. This is actually perhaps the most important gaming show on all of Twitch.
Arguably, yes.
Arguably,
I can see that. Man, that is a crazy situation, though. You really got it. I said next question kind of jokingly, but you got to distance yourself from this girl. She sounds like she's probably manic depressive. She sounds like she's probably maybe even has some kind of bipolar thing. I mean, people who come up and just want to be in your relationship, throw ultimatums at you. If one of Cora's friends, one of my girlfriend's friends came up to her and was like, you want to be in this, you want to be in this relationship and, I want to be in your relationship and blah, 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 blah. And if you don't accept me, go to another country. I'll be like, listen, how much is a ticket? Because I will set you up. I will set you up. Where you want to live, girl? We'll set you up. Italy? You want to live in Italy? Here you go. You go have an abode. Have fun. Go. Good luck to you, because that is insane. That's so nuts, man. Dude, you're right. It's selfishness. It's envy and it's selfishness, and you're throwing a dynamic into what has been working with your boyfriend for 5 years. You've been together for 5 years. You're gonna throw another thing in this. Then you're dealing with sexual. But her boyfriend has messed around with her a little bit. That's that. I mean. The boyfriend too. I don't know why we're skimming over the boyfriend too.
That's true.
The boyfriend should have fucking known better. He's being a little selfish. He should have known how crazy this is.
But maybe he didn't. Maybe he's like, oh my god, I get to sleep with another girl too, and then just went for it. And
but that's not. But that's putting his sexual needs before their relationship.
That's true. Your boyfriend. Look, everyone fucked up here. Okay, the crazy girl is crazy. You fucked up by saying this is okay and agreeing to it. Your boyfriend is fucked up by saying this is okay and agreeing to it. You've all fucked up. We're doing damage control now.
Yeah, you really need to talk to your boyfriend. Let him know that you're feeling this way. Communication is key. I would really just tell him how you feel. This is not. I know that you love these people, but if you're living in a situation that is toxic for you, you're going to become a toxic person, and ultimately, this is going to be toxic for all of you. Yeah. And it's not going to work out.
And this,
by the way, what we really need to know is if the boyfriend has feelings for her best friend.
That is very true. Does your boyfriend have feelings for her? If so, That's a whole
There's a
different
bigger
ballgame.
problem. There's a whole different, yeah.
Because this discussion is not the craziness is not the polyamorous aspect of this. Polyamorous relationships, I believe, can work. I have a friend in one successfully, or at least so I hear. We don't actually talk that often, but polyamory is a completely separate issue. This is crazy person forcing their way into your relationship. Do not confuse
Yeah.
this with the polyamorous problem. This is a problem of like, what did you say earlier? Jealousness, jealousy, and
Envy.
envy. There you go. This is a jealousy envy
It's
situation.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
envy and selfishness
Yeah,
is what
which
it
is
is.
fucking disgusting and toxic and sickening to like see things move this far forward. Like your friend is not respecting you at all. She doesn't give a shit about your relationship. She wants your boyfriend and your relationship with him, and neither like she's not. You're not even that into her. And she said that. How did it was phrased?
Here's another thing too, though. It might not, and then you can look at it again. It might not be the boyfriend's aspect because he might just kind of be like, "Oh, this is your best friend. How are we going to handle this?" And she might, because she's on the fence. She's like, "It's okay." And
Yeah.
so he's like getting the okay from her, getting mixed signals. So he's like, "Okay, I guess this is something that we're doing." He could be just as well trying to keep her in his life as she is to try to keep him, and they don't even know. There's a lot going on. I think we need more details really to give any really solid advice. But the only solid advice we can give you, that the facts are that this girl you need to get away from your life either way. If you care about the relationship that you have with your boyfriend, and if he cares about the relationship that you have that he has with you, you need to make sure that this person is no longer involved in your life. That's it. That's all there is. And she might be your best friend. You might have grown, but this is the point where you say, "Hey, we had a good run. It was a really great relationship, but I think maybe we've grown apart." And that's hard to do sometimes. But when they're trying to force their way into your monogamous relationship with threats and that's like
up.
the girl that says, "If you break up with me, I'll kill myself."
Yeah. That's
what I'm like. That secured it. Like that's now we're done. Like like this over. Is not. That's on you. Like what you do is you.
Abandon ship, dude. Just
communication is key.
And I'm pretty sure you will never make this problem again. So good job on your future success.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's move on. Whew. Hey Neil and guest. A few weeks ago, I was out at a cafe with a girl that I've been interested in for a while. Tea and cake type of thing. After having been to see a movie with her. She then asked on the way home if I wanted to go to her house for coffee. Here it went wrong. I didn't realize what she was implying for some reason and said, "No thanks, we just had some." She looked kind of disappointed and we went our separate ways. Oh my god. Okay. I only realized...
Wait. Honestly, I don't think I followed that.
Okay, so they went out for a date and then they went out for coffee. And then she said, "Hey, do you want to come back to my house for coffee?" And he was like, "We just had coffee. I'll see you later." When in reality, she was saying, "Do you want to come back to my house for coffee?"
Hot coffee.
Hot coffee.
Yes, coffee. Yeah, okay.
I only realized what she was asking, or actually trying to ask yesterday. I was going to call her, but she's out of the country for a few months. And when I spoke to her after that, it seemed kind of awkward and she seemed less interested in talking to me. What do I do? I know I screwed up, but how badly and can it be fixed? I forgot to say this is Hitch. Hitch as in the person, as the viewer. Hitch.
Oh, I was thinking it was like...
No, it's not Will Smith.
It's not Will Smith.
It's not Will Smith.
Well, listen, Will Smith. What I need you to know first is, you made a mistake. I mean, the girl, she was trying to... I don't know if she was necessarily trying to sleep with you. Just because a girl invites you back to your house doesn't mean she's trying to sleep with you. It doesn't always, okay? A lot of the times it does mean that she's wanting to take things to a physical level, or at least get to know you more intimately away from public eye, okay? So you did miss the cue there, okay? And sometimes that's all it takes to ruin pretty much everything. Sometimes you just miss a cue and then it's done. Now, here's the other thing too. This is the big kicker, is that this might not be repairable because she's gone for 2 months in another country.
I think it's over. I think you've played your hand and you lost, and you should just go play a different hand.
I would keep casual contact with her while she's away for the 2 months. And then when she comes back, I think that you should maybe, if you're really into this girl, I think you should try to invite her to go get some more coffee. And I think you maybe give it another go. If she's down for it to give it another go, I think maybe you should go for it
Yeah, if you might
Keep
have
in mind
one
though,
shot.
she's getting some exotic dick right now, okay? Wherever she's at, just understand that. She looks like she's in another country?
You know, you probably played your hand and lost. You have another shot in there somewhere. It's a slim shot, but if you can somehow, I don't. So do you think it's better to talk to her while she's away, or to not say anything, and then when she comes back, play your ace card, like
No,
your
no.
one? No, you think it's better
No,
to
I think
play it while it's going
I'm
on?
not saying that he should have long drawn out conversations with her over the months that she's gone if he's really that interested. What I'm saying is that he could send her a text or an email or a message, say, "Hey, you know what? It's kind of funny. You've been gone for a month or whatever, and I've noticed I've noticed that you're not around. Like I feel it. So just wanted to say I hope you're having a really great trip. Hopefully we can maybe reconnect when you come back." Something like that. Something that says, "Hey, nothing too pushy." Something that just says, "Hey, I'm thinking about you a little bit. You've been gone. Maybe we can, reconnect." And don't. It doesn't have to be a big long thing. You could send,
No, I think that's perfect. Something short, like, "Hey,
yeah.
I've been thinking about you." Key right there, because what you did is you turned down her interest in you. So you now have to express interest in her to make so that she feels that there's still something here. So you have to say, "I've been thinking about you," or something that shows that you're interested without actually saying you're interested. Because that's what that's the beauty of, "Do you want to come back to my place for coffee? Or do you want to go upstairs and get coffee?" Like, the beauty of that is it's the subtle hint that I would like to get to know you better. And so now that you have completely missed her cue, you have to give her the equivalent of, "Do you want to come back to my place and get coffee?" But you have to do it while she's in another country, and you have to do it without being pushy. It's a
I
tricky
would say
situation.
be tangible in her life right now, but don't be all up in it. Like just like Neil's right. This girl felt rejected.
Yes.
This girl felt rejected,
Well, she was
and
rejected.
well, she
Yeah.
was, but now in his defense,
Oh, it was a mistake.
misunderstanding the situation, he didn't necessarily reject her. He missed a social cue, is what he did. He made a mistake, so
And
he didn't necessarily reject her, but she feels rejected.
yeah,
I feel like she feels
that's
rejected.
that's a
So in
probably
order to
better
make
way.
her not feel rejected, the opposite of that is showing interest. So
Hmm.
when you say, I am interested in you, or I miss you, or something, I've been thinking about you, you're showing that girl another signal. So and right now, this is what you've thrown out there, rejection. Okay. And that's what's out there right now. So she's moving on with her life. She's going to go do whatever that's what I was talking about. I was joking, but she's going to go do whatever she wants to do in this other country, and she's going to move on with her life. Okay. She gave you a shot and you missed it. But if now you throw out the little, "Hey, I've been thinking about you," it now counteracts that. And she might go, "Oh, this guy, I like this guy," and maybe he did miss a cue or something. Let me talk to him. There is a shot there, but it all depends on really how much you feel about this girl. If you're really about her, great. If not, maybe maybe you should just chalk it up to a social learning experience and move on. But that's totally up to you and how you feel about her. So that's what I
Yeah,
say.
yeah. You you've got one shot. All right. I don't know the rest of the song, but just play it in your head.
If you had one shot to screw up every chance of having sex, would you go get coffee with her at her house, or would you
Yeah,
let it slip?
you got to find that clever thing that implies you're interested without pushing or demanding. And then when she comes back into the country, you ask her out to do something, and then you ask her back to your house for coffee. It's on you now to make the play, not on her.
You should invite her out and then throw up on your sweater already with your mom's spaghetti.
Yeah. In fact,
But
you
don't
should
look
just
nervous. You got to be calm and ready to drop bombs. Just don't forget, what you wrote down. I can't keep going. What you wrote down. The whole crowd screams so loud. No, it all depends on how you really how you really feel about her, whether or not you want to throw it out there, and be ready when you throw it out there, even that she's done with you. She might have felt that rejection, that sting, and she's not ready to feel that again. So
yeah.
throw it out there and be ready for whatever happens. Don't put too much in. Don't think that just because you're like, "Hey, I'm interested again," that she's gonna be like, "Oh, hello, so and so. Of course we can go get tea." By the way, cake and tea. I don't think I've ever gotten cake and tea with a person.
Yeah. That's why this girl sounds pretty cool. You should.
I
I
don't
mean,
think I've ever been on a date like that. Like how does that
cake.
even come up? Like, why is that a first? Like, would you like to go get some cake? You think this is like the UK, like another country? Maybe tea and cake is
Well,
like
first off, they're out at a cafe, which is
okay,
definitely more European.
yeah.
Cake and tea, also European. Also, he uses yahoo.co.uk as his email provider, so definitely UK.
Booyah! Yep. Detective skills, Ellohime, Koibu Detective Service, right there for you guys. British thing, Ello. Yeah, I figured. So,
Yeah,
all right.
yeah, cake and tea,
Cake and tea,
which
huh?
is yeah. Well, there's a cake and death joke in there somewhere, but I can't make it right now.
Wait, so if you went and got tea and cake, does that mean that your dates were a lie?
Dude, there was a cake at the end. The cake was not a lie. There was a cake. That's the whole
There was
point
no
of the
cake. Maybe
game.
there was no cake. Maybe
No, there
we're not
was.
reading
Didn't you
into
watch
this
the
right.
end of it? There was a
No.
cake.
Listen. They showed us a picture of a cake. We don't know where that cake
The cake.
resides.
There was a burning candle that got snuffed out by a mechanical
That
arm.
could
There
have
was
been
a
in my
cake.
backyard for all
There
I
was a
know.
cake. It was not a lie. How
I'm
do
not
people
saying
not?
that. I'm not saying cake doesn't exist, Neil. I'm just saying it didn't exist in the context of that game.
It
I never
did
found the
exist.
cake.
They
I
showed
didn't
you the
find
cake.
It's a lie.
It was next to the companion cube. Who had a party hat on? I think, if memory serves right. Maybe
I
it
can
didn't.
make a companion cube and put a party hat on it and build or bake a cake and put it in my backyard, and that doesn't mean that those players have any shot of ever eating that cake.
All right, so
Don't
you think
defend
GLaDOS
what
just
GLaDOS
happens
did.
to have cakes lying about and party hats just lying about just because she's like, well, what if I actually need to make a cake? No, the machine doesn't have cakes lying around. It's a robot. It does what it's going to do. It wouldn't make a
Listen,
fake cake. It
I've
builds the
watched
cake.
enough. I have watched enough reality cake shows to know that sometimes cakes lie around. All right, and
Cakes just
sometimes they
lie
lie.
around.
They do. They
Like
lie
if I go
around
into my cupboard right
sometimes.
now, there might just be a cake right there.
Listen, I'm not saying there is or isn't. I'm just saying that there could be. Okay, there could be cakes in places you don't even know. But one place that cake wasn't was in that game. Okay,
There was a cake in the game.
Okay. Next question. Next
Okay,
question.
next question. Um, Hello, Neil and guest. This question's a little bit of a weird one, so bear with me. I'd also like to keep it anonymous. Good job. If you don't want your name read aloud, please don't sign these.
Oh, by the way, if you get one from a girl named Jade, she actually didn't know the option of sending it anonymous. Just throwing it out there.
Okay.
Sorry, one of my users.
The one that's from
yeah.
Jade Jade?
Yeah. Don't say which one it is.
Oh, I won't.
There you go. Okay.
We may not even get to it this week. We
We
may
may
just
not even
save
get to
it
it.
for next week just because we talked about it. Who
There you
knows?
go. There you go.
Hello, Neil and guest. This question is a little bit of a weird one, so bear with me. I'd like it to keep it anonymous. I've been dating this girl for a few months now, and while everything is going fine, the problem arose 2 days ago when she decided to poke around on my computer and ran into my hentai folder, which I have never tried to hide as no one ever uses my PC. Problem number one. Before we finish the rest of this email, I don't care if no one uses your PC. If you have a porn folder, that is the deepest, darkest, most burrowed folder in your entire computer. I don't care if you live in Antarctica by yourself with nothing but penguins for 10,000 miles around you. You keep your porn folder buried. Okay, sorry. That's just a... Long story short, she now knows I'm a gigantic lolicon, among other things, and I'm curious to hear your options on what I should do to quell her surprise and curiosity. To the best of my knowledge, has never been to any kind of anime, so something like this probably looks really bad. Not to mention the fact loli is generally not socially accepted. It's generally not socially accepted in most places. So yeah, that is just the problem at hand. I'm generally worried about the relationship now, as I believe she might think I'm actually attracted to children, which is a disgusting thought. I actually can't stand children, which is the most ironic part of all this. What can I do in this situation? She, for the last 2 days, has seemed off whenever around me, which I'm fairly sure I can equate to that discovery. A weird question, I know, but I want to hear Senpai's answer. Dude.
Hold on, Neil. Hold on a second. First of all, we have to establish some things. Okay. When you say hentai to me is not the same as saying lolicon.
Lolicon hentai.
Okay, I get that, but if I say that I look at hentai, or if I find out that my friend's like, oh yeah, I look at hentai, whatever, I don't assume that he's looking at that specifically.
No, you just
So
think anime style porn, right?
Yeah, anime style porn, right? But we're dealing with images of what is, grade schoolers and under 18 material, right? Okay. Man, that is okay. First of all, if you're not already open about your viewing habits on the internet with your girlfriend, if this is like a new realm, you basically it's the you're basically asking this girl to swim in lava, okay? Like her first dip in the ocean, like her first time swimming should never be in lava. Like you shouldn't have her expose her to the worst, what I consider to be some of the worst, quote unquote, most what's controversial porn. God, that is insane. Basically, this is what it comes down to. You need to be honest, because you're gonna be in a relationship with this person for a long time, right? You're wanting to. I mean, whenever we're talking about relationships, Neil, I believe that we're talking about relationships that lead to marriage and long time
We're
monogamous
talking about
relationships.
serious romantic relationships.
Exactly. Whether that leaves with marriage, like I'm not married, but I feel like I'm in a serious long-term romantic relationship, and marriage is a thing. But this is somebody who you're going to be sharing your life with, and especially your sex life. Your sex life is paramount in these relationships. In fact, a lot of it you can't have a relationship, a romantic relationship without the sex, without the sexualness of it. Okay. Now you're taking this, and you have these certain ways that you feel about your sexuality and everything like that. And you're looking at porn, you're looking at hentai, you're looking at these things. You need to understand that whoever you're with kind of needs to either learn to accept that about you, or if this isn't that important to you, you maybe need to think about stop looking at these sort of things. One of these has to give, because you're not going to be able to be in a sexual relationship with this girl, a healthy sexual relationship with this girl, and a healthy relationship in general with this girl if you're keeping secret porn on the side. I really believe that. Some guy secret porn on the side and it whatever. But I feel like sexuality is such an important part of what you're doing in a romantic relationship. Probably one of the most important parts, that if you're not sharing this with her, or she doesn't know about this, it can feel not only like she feels that the things you're looking at might be weird, but also she may feel betrayed. If I am keeping something from my girlfriend, all my porn habits and blah 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 blah, because I don't want to upset her and stuff like that, when she finds that, not only is she legit, the only way I think she can legitimately be mad is because you didn't tell her about it. So, but now we come into a very controversial kind of sexuality. I mean, this is something that, this is red hot. Like, this is something that, like, either they accept it or they don't accept it, the kind of thing. And it's really something that if you're into and you want a girl to be into, you really got to take it slow with something like this. Her just seeing that sucks. My heart goes out to you, man. It really does. I mean, oh man, but
We haven't. This
you're
is
gonna
an
have to
interesting
be with a
situation.
girl that either accepts that you look at lolicon, or you're gonna have to be with a girl that you're able to leave lolicon over. One of the two.
There's also a scary, scary, scary third possibility, which I don't mean to bring up to be fear mongering, but they've been dating for a few months now. There's also
Oh
the
yeah.
possibility that she gets freaked out and reports you to the police. When, of course, lolicon is not child pornography. They're not the same thing,
You're
and
not,
in
yeah.
the eyes of the law, they're not the same thing. And we have no legal advice to offer you here, but this is actually a serious problem that may affect your life. I'm not saying you're going to go to jail over this, because I don't know the legality of lolicon, but I assume it's legal. But you could actually get yourself into some deep water here. So you, one way or the other, you need to have a conversation about this girl and be like, hey, I am so sorry you stumbled across that. What do you think? You need to talk to her. You need to get her input and her feedback. You need to be able to answer any questions that she has, and you need to sit down and have a mature fucking adult conversation about this. Because worst case scenario is she goes to the police and tells your family. And it's like, oh my god, do you know so and so? They watch or they look at this. That's a terrifying option. All right, you fucked up. This is why you hide your porn folders, especially if you look at lolicon. But you need to have a conversation with this girl, because this could actually be a serious problem.
I again, there's no legal advice here, whether or not it's illegal or legal, or whether or not it's right or wrong or anything like that. What Neil said is absolutely right.
Yeah,
You're going to have a conversation with her, and as gut wrenching as it needs to be, you need to sit down with her and you need to explain to her that, listen, you might be into certain things and this, but you need to explain your stance on this, because there's some people that look at lolicon and are they are totally normal. They're not they're not into kids or anything like that. It's just that's something that they like, whatever. But I don't think it equates to. I don't think if you look at lolicon, it just automatically equates to you're a pedophile. Like it just doesn't automatically do that. I mean, it's not for me, but I'm not going to sit here and judge another person and what they look at, because it's not it's not a tangible thing. And so, again, this is where we start to get the murkiness of like, oh, this is how I feel about it. But the thing is that my opinion is not popular. My opinion on it is not what you're going to run into. You're going to run into people who don't understand the situation, especially she sounds like she doesn't understand it. That was likely her first time ever encountering something like that, or even knowing about something like that. And that is why it's so important that you need to talk to her.
Twitch chat right now, sorry to interrupt, is kind of exploding with like, it's legal, it's illegal, and a bunch of people asking what it is. Okay, Twitch chat, you have Google at your hands clearly since you're watching this. Go Google what the fuck is lolicon, okay? Figure it out. Figure out the legal issues on your own. Do not discuss legal issues here on Twitch. That is a ridiculous idea. No one should ever take internet advice or legal advice from anyone in Twitch chat or anyone on a Twitch stream. Just to get that out of the way. Also, we are not in any way, but we're good. Just don't take your legal advice from us. Go figure that out on your own. And you got to figure this out. Sorry, keep going.
You're right. No, you're right. Chat. We can. This is where the maturity comes in to be able to discuss things like this, because this happens. I'm sure that a lot of us have sexual feelings that we don't share with other people a lot of the time. Like it's part of it. Okay.
Yeah, definitely don't Google this at work or in front of your wife.
Yeah, no, don't.
Or kids.
Yeah, no, unless you. But communication, again, communication's key. Everybody always says it's cliche, whatever, but it's true. Whether or not you have a continued relationship with this person at this point shouldn't even be your concern. What your concern should be is sitting down with this person and trying to at least communicate with them where you're coming from, how you feel about this. And maybe you guys can come up with something from that. But there's nothing that's going to come from this that's good if you're not going to sit down and talk with her.
You need to be very honest with this girl. And I know it's going to be awkward because you've only been dating for a few months and she's found like your deepest, darkest secret in the whole wide world. But this is the moment where you decide whether you're an adult or you're a child. And that's how you handle this conversation is kind of going to be like a litmus test for how mature of a person you are. And that's a scary thing, but you're going to have to deal with that, buddy. And good luck.
Yeah, and very good luck. And in the future, first of all, if you're going to have very controversial porn on your computer, first of all, I would suggest not saving any of that. Don't save it on your computer, okay? Even if you, whatever, but just do not. Listen, everybody can have a porn file, okay? You want a porn file, go for it. A lot of guys have porn file. That's fine. But I don't keep a porn file of like controversial shit. Like that's just asking for trouble. Okay, so I don't know. I'm not sitting here trying to say whatever. But I think you understand. I think you guys, the mature audience out there, understands what I'm saying. You have to have some common sense about what you're saving to your computer. In the first place, you made a mistake, buddy. You made a mistake. You're going to get burned by it. But if you want to apply, some ointment to that burn, you need to go talk to her right now. Yeah. Like, as soon as it makes sense,
And when you've had this conversation with her, I am very curious to hear how it pans out. If you don't want to tell us, that's fine. If you want to shoot me a short email giving me the results, I would be very curious to hear them. So don't be afraid of keeping in touch.
Actually, I wanna know how this is probably like the murkiest. Like this is like, damn man, like
this is a sketchy issue. This is probably the sketchiest issue we've ever dealt with.
And I'm not trying again. I'm not trying to scare you or anything. But what somebody doesn't understand about you is probably the worst thing that can happen. What somebody doesn't understand about you, and
Yes,
you just
or
opened up a portal for people to really misunderstand you. So take that for what it is,
yeah.
and don't. And also, if it and just throw this out there too, if this does blow up and it does become a thing, don't let it define you. Move on with your life. Find a new girl. Keep being social. Don't let the depression get to you. So, because that's crazy, man. Anyways,
All right. Next question. Me and my boyfriend have a great relationship, but when we are about to have sex, he gets flaccid when he puts a condom on. Is this normal?
yes, yes. Fuck condoms. I get flaccid every time. Fuck condoms, rubbers, all that shit. Listen, I'm not saying not to have protected sex. Okay, if that's what you got to do, do what you got to do. Have her go down on you first, then put the condom on. That helps. That's great. But listen, I'm right there with you, man. I'm one of them. Listen. This is. I am going to be my penis for like this little bit for right here. All right? All right? This is me. I am now my penis. All right? I am ready to have sex. I am ready, man. Send me in. And what happens is a girl even if I smell that rubbery smell, that like that new rubber smell. This is what penis is. That's what it does. And then oh, they see the rubber. Oh, fuck that shit. And it's down. It's done. It's done. Okay, I'm right there with you. I just for whatever reason, condoms and my penis do not mix. Okay, at all, ever. They never have. They never have. I've never liked them. Never will like them. They destroy everything. It's really weird in the middle of what you're doing. It's inconvenient. I'm not saying not to have safe sex. What I'm saying though is to find alternatives that are going to work. Okay, there are other alternatives besides condoms to minimize certain aspects that are dangerous when it comes to having intercourse.
If you're in a monogamous relationship and there's no STDs in question, there are other forms of birth control. If that's your primary look of your use of contraceptives is birth control, there you go. There's other things. There's the pill. There's hormone IUDs. There's copper IUDs. There's diaphragms. There's this fucking don't know what it's called, but there's this thing that they inject into your penis, which sounds awful, but it's actually super amazing, and they're just working on it in India right now. It's super cool and like it solves the problem of it's like a thing that guys can do to temporarily make themselves sterile, and then it can wash away immediately, like with a proper application. It's fantastic. There's lots of opportunities for
yeah,
that.
I've had a totally normal sexual life, and I feel very fulfilled, and I have totally abandoned condoms for the same exact reason. And and don't be embarrassed either. That's the worst thing, because there's the stereotype like a man can't get it up, then it's like, oh, I'm not a man then. Red meat, you drink beer, whatever. Fuck that noise. Listen, every man in his life is gonna deal with certain moments where he's impotent. Okay, you get super drunk, you get whiskey dick. Okay, sometimes the girl, there can be something about a girl, you don't even know that you don't like certain things about her, but it can kill your sexual vibe and it can cause you not to get hard. There's been relationships, there's girls out there that think that I am totally impotent because I got with this girl and I didn't realize how much I disliked her and things about her, but I was so interested in having sex and so wanting to have sex that I was trying to put it outside of my mind, and things about her, even sexually, things about her, as shallow as that sounds, there's sometimes things about women that you don't like and you just can't get over. Sometimes there's been times where I've liked a girl as a person and she's had physical attributes attributed to her that I don't like, and I just could not get it up. And it's normal. It's a normal thing. You're not sexually attracted. Oh no.
But
what
that's
happened?
not why your boyfriend's not getting hard. Your
Yeah,
boyfriend,
that's not. Yeah, I'm just saying that that's not why your boyfriend's getting hard. But what I'm saying is that there's a lot of things that go into impotence, and it doesn't just automatically mean that your boyfriend has something wrong with him, or there's something wrong with the relationship or anything like that. What it means is that his penis does not like condoms, and his mind cannot get over the idea of wrapping his penis around in rubber. And I'm right there with you. So,
on the other hand, so there are alternatives to condoms. However, if you're in a sort of situation where you're not monogamous, or you're not sure if the other person's monogamous, or there's some question of STDs, there are things other than latex condoms that you can use. I am pretty far behind on my research for these things, so you should go do it on your own. There's
Being the
female
professionals that
condoms.
we are.
Well, I mean, this is LoveBytes, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
There are other alternatives that you should look into because if like STDs are scary things and you don't want to get the wrong ones, some of them, you
Well,
take
you
the
don't want
you
to
get a
get
shot and you're
any of
fine.
them, but you definitely don't want to get some of
But yeah,
them.
but I mean, the reality of the situation is most STDs you can cure, right? The only ones that are terrible that you don't want to get are the ones that are incurable and like life threatening. Those are the scary ones that you want to stay away from. Everything else, yeah, you don't want to get the clap, but it can be cured. You don't want to get crabs, it can be cured. You don't want to get syphilis, it can be cured. You don't get
Yeah.
those things, but you do want to make sure if you're to take precautions for STDs at all points in time if you're not sure about the monogamy of the relationship. So if he doesn't like the condom, if he can't get up with the condom, find another thing. Use a female condom, okay? Or whatever the other options are, which you should Google because we're live right now and we shouldn't be Googling things.
You should, and this is something else out there. Gentlemen, this has always been my stance on it, and you can adopt this if you choose to. But I've always been a big fan of the birth control pills, but I also understand that I'm not the one having to uh I'm not the one having to take these hormones that can cause these women to have all sorts of changes in not only their bodies but also their personalities. So because I'm asking somebody else to take on the brunt of that so that I can have my sexual pleasure, you might want to consider if she's down for getting birth control, maybe paying for it for her, or
Also, look into IUDs. The
yep.
copper IUD is
Not
fantastic.
IEDs. Those are a
No,
whole different thing. You don't want
no,
that.
no. The IUD, the copper IUD is this little like kind of springy copper T-shaped thing that they insert into your uterus, which is terrifying sounding. But the procedure is pretty painless and it's a little bit discomforting for like 5 minutes and then it's over.
Yeah.
And it lasts for 10 years, and the copper ions make the uterus like not a habitable zone for sperm, and so you can't get pregnant. Doesn't protect against STDs or anything like that, but it is a non-hormonal way to deal with the issue of birth control. And it's super, super popular in Europe. It never got popular in the US because they had a hormone IUD back in the 70s and 60s that fucked things up and caused a bunch of birth defects. And
There's,
that's no longer used. But the new one, the copper one, is used and it's super useful. And then there's no hormone side effects and it's in there and you don't have to do anything and it lasts for 10 years.
I love how it's like
10
my.
years!
Sorry, excuse me, ma'am. I can't really use condoms or birth control. Can you please put an IED up your vagina so I can get off? It's like, can you
Well,
please
but
put an
I mean,
improvised
it's for both of them, right?
Well, let me throw a little
She can't have
personal out
sex if
here.
he can't get up
I
either.
don't I don't know if Cora really wants me to reveal this, but we're pretty open about things. Cora, when she takes birth control, this is my girlfriend I'm talking about. It causes her to be kind of a different person. We argued a lot, actually, when she was taking birth control, not throwing everything on the birth control, but there were a lot of things chemically happening within her that was causing her to be much different. And I still loved her and everything like that, but the birth control thing doesn't work for Cora, and the condoms things don't work for me. So what we've been considering is there's like a UV thing it's the same thing that you were talking about, something that gets inserted and then it's there for a certain amount of years, and you can have as much sex as you want, and you're pretty much good to go. So I deal with this in my personal life. Like I don't like condoms. Cora doesn't do well on birth control, and one kid later, we just have a kid, hey, maybe we should find an alternate route, but my girlfriend's in the chat right now. She says different person equals bitch, but I was but a nice person. She was a nice bitch is what she was. And it was this weird thing. So don't worry about it. There's other alternatives, very safe alternatives, new alternatives even, that maybe you should look into. So, because you want everybody to be comfortable, if he doesn't like condoms and he just absolutely despises them to the fact that his penis just does not want to participate in what should be one of the most fun experiences of your life, then you're going to have to find a way to get around that. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's all it comes down to. Yeah. Bam! We nailed that one.
We really nailed that one. Jesus.
Mm.
All right, next question. My question is, how do you unfuck a history of nagging with your spouse? Also there is a game out there that my hubby, strategy gamer, and I, FPS/sim player, can play together for our love together. Oh, play together to forge our love together. Thanks.
Wait. Okay,
How do you
so she.
unfuck a history of nagging with your spouse? And is there a game out there that my strategy game husband can play with me, an FPS/sim player?
What? Okay, let me throw this one out there. Sorry, I just drank that beer and it just went over, and now I'm cleaning up. Um, is it you? Is it her doing the nagging, or is it
It
him doing the
sounds
nagging?
like if she wants to unfuck a history of nagging, it's probably her nagging with her husband.
Is it the sexist in me that just and immediately thinks it's her? You know, like that she's doing the nagging. How can I stop
When was the
nagging
last
my
time you
husband?
ever heard used when with a guy doing it? Like you never hear about guys nagging
You're
people. We
right. You're
do
right.
it,
I just didn't
but the
want to. I
term
didn't
no,
want to go there because it
no,
didn't
no, no, no,
sound like she had said that necessarily. So I didn't want to assume that
no. But
she was the one
we
nagging.
usually use the word nag with women, whether it's sexist or whether it's just a term that applies that way. We use nag with women. Guys, we use argue, yell, be a dick, raging asshole. Women, we say nag.
Yeah. Okay. So how can you stop nagging your boyfriend, and
How do you
also
unfuck a history of it?
how do you unfuck a history of it? Okay. I absolutely detest, and I cannot thrive in an environment where I'm being nagged. Okay, as a person or a man or whatever, I would say less a man and more of a person. I can't thrive there. It can be extremely stressful, especially over long periods of time that builds up. And unfucking it takes, I would say, probably half the amount of time that it took that you built this relationship as a naggy relationship. Because this is something that you're talking about that's going to take time to change, okay? Not only are you going to change, you're going to need to change your behavior towards your boyfriend or husband, but he's going to have to accept that your change is real. And that is even harder, in my opinion. Um, how you go about not nagging
I got this one.
that.
I
Okay,
got the answer.
Neil's got it.
I
Neil's
got
got
the
it, man.
answer to this one. All right.
Got it. Go. Do it.
Nagging at its core, at least for me, when I think of someone nagging me, it's, hey, did you take out the trash? Did you call the grocery store? Did you do this thing? Nagging is micromanaging at some level. So, in order to eliminate the nagging, what you need to do is you need to develop a trust that when you ask your spouse to do something, that it will be done. And he needs to understand that you need this done in a timely manner. Like you need to have better communication about what the task is and when it needs to be done and the level of priority. So you need to say instead of like, hey, will you take out the trash later today, and then check in like a couple hours later being like, did you take out the trash? You need to get to the point where you're like, someone needs to take out the trash tonight and I've got work. So you put it as less of a you do this for me and more of we need to do this, I don't have time, could you do this for me? And then you leave it alone. And if the trash does not get done, you live with the consequences. What you have to do is you have to learn to chill out as a person. And I don't want to put the nagging just on you because I've been in the situation planning a wedding where people aren't responding and you just want to nag them and get them to do the thing. So but let's talk about like domestic things. You need to get the trash taken out. Your husband's not taking out the trash. What if the trash doesn't get taken out? What if it becomes your husband's responsibility to take out the trash and you just leave it alone and it builds up for 3 weeks and now you've got 3 weeks of trash sitting in your kitchen and it's disgusting. It's still your husband's responsibility to take it out. You're married together. You have to live together. He'll take it out eventually and then he'll be like, holy shit, if I don't take it out, it's not going to happen. Oh, and you know what? My wife isn't going to remind me to take out the trash, so I actually have to remember on my own. The problem is that you develop through nagging. I had a mother. This is how we know these things. Through nagging, you develop a position where the person being nagged is relying on the nagging as their motivation to solve things. So you will need to step back from that nagging, and they will need to find their own proper motivation to do things, while you have to learn to not micromanage and to live with the effects of things going wrong. So you will have a rough patch where you stop nagging before he starts taking care of his shit, which could last 1 week. It could last 3 months. I have no idea. I don't know. but you're going to have a rough patch afterwards. But before you start that, you need to sit down and have a conversation and be like, we can't live like this anymore. This is stupid. I'm going to stop nagging you, and we're going to start having conversations about the things we need to do together as a couple, rather than I need you to do this for me here, there, and there. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. And then there's a psychological aspect to this as well that you need to realize and be aware of, is that when people feel nagged, when, especially when men feel nagged, either subconsciously or consciously, they sometimes want to rebel against you, and they won't do it purposely because you nagged them. And some people are like that. And if your husband or boyfriend is that kind of person, you need to realize that it's going to take him time to get into the mode that, hey, I need to do these things, and she's not going to nag me over them, so therefore I don't need to rebel against this. Because I don't think men or people in general, when they're nagged, think about this actively, but I think subconsciously they dislike the nagging so much that they put off the task at hand.
Well, because it's the sort of situation where someone's like, where they're telling you to do something, you're like, fuck you, I'm my own person, I'll do it when I'm good and ready. And so you wait until at least they're gone, and then you forget about it because you're so pissed off about thinking this, you just don't want to think about the nagging thing, so you get focused and it just slips by. It's the like, fuck you, don't tell me how to live my life sort of mentality, which when I get nagged about small things, even with my fiance, who I very much love, I will still be like, no, I'm not going to get you flowers. You can't just ask for flowers. I'll get them when I'm good and ready. And then I forget to get flowers for like 6 months. And then I'm...
Here's the thing too, is you have to leave your and this is going to sound wrong, but let me explain. You need to leave your husband or boyfriend. Is it boyfriend or husband? What is
husband?
Is it? Husband. You need to leave your husband in a state of powerlessness when it comes to arguing his stance against you on some of these tasks. What I mean is when you ask him to put out the garbage, and what happens, what I believe nagging happens, and when 15 minutes goes by and you go through the kitchen again and the garbage isn't taken out, you go back up and say, honey, I asked you to take out the garbage 15 minutes ago. Can you please, and then like 30 minutes or 45 minutes, honey, it's been 30, 45. That's when nagging starts happening.
Oh my God.
So you need to leave your husband in a position where he's powerless to argue against you. And you do that by asking him to we're using this example, take out the trash, okay? And you leave him alone. Leave him alone. And wait till the next day. Or 2 days from there. The longer you wait, the better. Let the trash compile. And then you can go up to him 3, 2, whatever, a day later, and you can say to him, hey, honey, yesterday I asked you to do this chore. It's been, at least 24 hours since I've asked you. I don't feel like I'm being unreasonable asking you to take it out, but I don't want to nag you. And what he's going to do, if he's a reasonable person, a reasonably logical thinking person, he's going to be in a position where he has no argument at that point. She asked you to take out the garbage. She didn't nag you, and it still didn't get done. So then he thinks, maybe the nagging is because I'm a lazy piece of shit and I didn't do what was asked of me. And you can almost prove that by waiting.
I don't know. This sounds like a tricky thing to me. This sounds like you're sneaking this in. That sounds sketchy.
It might sound sketchy, but the thing is that understanding what's happening is going to be really important in this process of changing an entire mindset of a relationship. And he needs to understand that the reason that she's nagging is because things aren't being done within her time frame. So if she gives him an exuberant time frame and he still doesn't get done what she's asked, it's on his shoulders at that point.
Yeah.
So when he realizes that it's on his shoulders, he's going to be more apt to listen to her because she's been reasonable with him. Does that make sense? Because this isn't going to be something that changes, overnight. This is not going to be something that changes in a week. This is going to be it's a behavioral issue between you guys, and one of you is going to have to relent. And when you sound like the one that wants to change, when you change and you start presenting that change to him, especially not directly, indirectly by saying, hey, honey, I asked you 2 days ago to take out the trash. I don't want to nag you. I don't want to be that kind of relationship. Can you, maybe take out the trash? I just feel like there's been enough time, in between. If he's, again, a reasonable person, he's going to go, in his head, he's going to go, you know what, she's right. She asked me and she didn't nag me. And then I waited like 3 days. In fact, I didn't even intend to put it out and she didn't even nag me. Maybe I need to change too. Maybe I need to start listening.
I think,
and it sounds tricky. It sounds tricky, but the thing is that I honestly think that it's a necessary step of, psychology to let this person know, because we don't know right now who's at fault. Maybe she's naggy because he's a lazy piece of shit who doesn't do anything all day.
Yeah.
Maybe she's asked him in the past to do things and he's waited weeks and he never gets anything done. And as a person who has been nagged before, and as a person who deals with this, I like to be given time. I like you to come in and ask me to do something. Give me a couple days. I'll get it done. We'll get, I got other things I'm doing. I'm providing for the family. I'm working. I'll get around to it. But the thing is where it becomes an issue is when it doesn't get it. You don't get around to it. Then it becomes your fault.
Yeah.
And it drives the woman to nag you more, because she thinks the response to you not doing what you're supposed to do is to push you further, and then that tension builds. So
I think you'd be better off talking to him about it. Be like, hey, we have a problem in our relationship. I nag you all the time to get shit done. It drives you crazy. It drives me crazy. I'm acting like my mom. I don't want to be that person. We got to solve this problem. So from now on, we're going to take care of our responsibilities properly. I'm not going to nag you to do shit. I may ask you once to do it, but you're just going to have to do it. And if you need me to do something, you'll just ask me once, and I'll make sure I do it. And if it doesn't get done in a couple days, we'll talk about it again. But I'm going to stop nagging you, and you're going to start doing, and I hope you start doing things on your own. But you should have that initial discussion ahead of time, not just be like, see what happens? I didn't nag you for 3 days, and you didn't take out the trash. Now I'm just going to keep nagging you for the rest of my life. Like that, you're not in an honest relationship with someone if you set them up with a trap and then spring it on them, and then like have proof above them that you lord over them forever. That sounds okay.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but I'm not saying to do this maliciously or to prove a point. What I'm saying is to leave him if your quarry goes to ground, give him no ground to go to. If his excuse is the reason I don't do this because you nag me all the time, if that's his excuse, you need to take that away from him. You need to be reasonable. And when you approach him about this, it's not an I told you so situation. This is a, hey man, this is a problem. I care about our relationship, and I'm trying to approach it in a new way.
See, it's
all about the context. It's all about the context. I'm not saying go later and go, I asked you to, that's not going to help anything.
See, but that's why you don't do the secret thing, is because it could come off like that. Like you are planning something ahead of time. You need to be upfront about this. Like, what is it? If there's something, the fucking light of day will bring out the truth. There's some phrase about how if you're being honest with good intentions, saying it aloud would damn it. There's a phrase. I read it earlier today. It's something about...
Would you like me to Google some quotes for you?
No. But the point is, if you're being honest, that should not be a problem.
I used a Firefly quote in mine. Ooh. All right? If your quarry goes to ground, leave him no ground to go to. Come on, man.
They say it in Firefly, but it's a quote from someone else a long time ago.
Listen, you do the research. I first heard it on Firefly. It's a Firefly quote. And also, you were saying, what I really like about this letter is that it seems like we have somebody here who genuinely cares about her relationship and that wants to make things better. Because not only is she asking about how she can stop nagging, but she's also asking about what she can do in gaming, which is what we do, to increase the bond between them. And that's really cool. I like that. And some games I might suggest. Are you Googling right now?
I'm so Googling.
Yeah, you are. One game I would suggest. You said you like simulations. And he likes what did she say? Do you remember what he likes? Because the first thing that came to my mind was games like
he's a strategy player. She's a FPS sim gamer.
An FPS sim gamer, and he's a strategy gamer. You might that's a tough go between because you're thinking about multiplayer games. You might want to consider games that have really strong communities.
Dude, Natural Selection 2.
Or Natural Selection 2? Oh, okay, sorry, I thought something was happening.
No, that's the game. That's the game. Have you played Natural
FPS
Selection?
I have played Natural Selection. I was thinking more of like an Altus Life kind of thing, where you can choose to like in Arma 3, you can choose to be a farmer. You can do the whole sim thing if you want to, or you can be kind of a hardened criminal and do that too. Giving a playground.
Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, you can do Dungeons and Dragons too. Absolutely. Dungeons and Dragons is
and that's a strategy for
role playing. Yeah, role playing is a wonderful way that me and my girlfriend that we like I said, we have a kid now and everything. We started out doing role playing together, and and that's not video games, but there's plenty of video game role playing out there. That's what I was talking about with Altus Life and Arma 3 is a lot of people role play on those servers. And so you have the simulation aspect of it, but you throw in like just straight up D&D, pen and paper D&D or video game D&D. You can get on a Neverwinter Nights server or something like that. There's still a ton of those out. And then Neverwinter Nights 2 and all that stuff. Jump on a server and start communicating and role playing or play. Divinity, yeah.
Dude, play Divinity. That game is fantastic.
Yeah, a lot of those games. Now you said FPS. That's why I went to Arma, with the thing. But
FPS/sim gives you that entire like sim set of culture and ideas and the whole role playing section of things. No.
And then you can take that to the bedroom. You can be like, I'm, Cockbringer, the Orcbane, and
you can get together with the guy who's doing the elven runes, and you can be the dwarves, and they'll be the elves.
Yeah, and you can have crazy dwarf sex.
Crazy nagging dwarf sex.
Oh yeah, you're like,
why hasn't it been in yet? It's been a few seconds now.
You're not doing me hard enough. And then she's like really getting, it's like, God. And then it's great. I like it. Neil, you're on point.
Dude, we got this solved.
Mm-hmm.
Done. And you know what?
In fact, I don't think there's many problems that can't be solved with dwarf sex. Like, oh, my toilet stopped working. Have you had enough dwarf sex in your life? The caulk around my windows aren't quite. We need a handyman. No, you just need to have more dwarf sex. It's pretty much the answer to everything. Like, I don't understand quantum physics. Please, you should read some books and maybe have some dwarf sex. I feel like dwarf sex is probably the answer for a lot in life, and I'm willing to stand by that. I'm excited about the discovery of dwarf sex.
All right, one more.
All right.
I am an adult female gamer. I'm 24, and I play MMOs and console games. I've always wanted to find love within the gaming community because I've formed really good friendships there, and a couple of relationships that were long distance, and they've all been the better ones that I've formed in real life, as odd as that sounds. From an advice standpoint, how do you feel about long-distance relationships and love within the gaming community, and how someone like myself, who has obscure interests and is somewhat shy and introverted, to take something like that over into my real life and make it last? How do you feel about the long-distance relationship? So you love gaming. How do you feel about long-distance relationships?
So what's the perfect situation? Like, she meets a guy on an MMO and they fall in love, and then he's down the street from her. like that's the perfect situation. Listen, I can speak with some authority on this. Some authority. I was in a long distance relationship for about 2 years. I lived in Florida. She lived in Georgia. And I would pretty much monthly drive up to see her. She would drive down to see me. She wasn't a gamer though. It was very. It was a 6-hour drive when she was at college, and then it was about an 8-hour drive when she was at home. And sometimes I would visit in both places. So it was enough that you don't have the intimacy that other people have in their relationships because you have so much distance between you two, and it doesn't make sense for one or the other to move. It's a very, very, very trying and very, very, very difficult way to have a relationship with somebody. Now here's the thing. I'm not saying that it can't work or that it doesn't work. It does and can work. My mom met my stepdad on my parents divorced when I was about 14. She met my stepdad when I was about 17, and she had met him on an online dating service. And we thought she was absolutely insane because he was in California, we were in Florida, and he was gonna fly down to meet her, right? Today, I would call that man my father. The dude is amazing. They are super happy together. He is one of the most incredible individuals I've ever known. And I'm just totally happy for them. Long distance relationships, especially ones met online, can happen and do work. Okay. But that being said, I would say that they're very tough and they're very rare. And at some point, somebody's going to have to make a move. He was willing to move from California, which, by the way, ruined his relationship with his kids, to come stay and live down here, to be with her. And it's not necessarily his fault. It's not necessarily their fault. But the thing is that there's difficulties that you're going to run into that are different from other people's normal relationships, or more, socially normal relationships that you may not be thinking about. Now, throw in gaming with all this. It's always fun to have like interests with the people that you're with. But I don't feel like you need to have everything in an interest. And I wouldn't limit yourself to a certain niche group of people when you're quote unquote looking for love. Neil and I have been talking about natural, very organic relationships coming up with people in their lives when they're, doing certain things and stuff like that. I wouldn't limit yourself just because you might meet somebody at your college just because he's not into gaming. So, all this being said, it's a different playing field, and you're kind of crippling yourself going into it. Like you're making a hard task even harder with your approach. Is that Neil? You're nodding. You
I'm
seem
nodding. Yeah, long distance relationships are hard. I did one for a while, like 6 months. We left on happy terms, but it wasn't working. Long distance is not easy, and someone does need to move. And if you're just looking for a long distance relationship within the gaming community, it's going to be really hard to find one, and really upsetting when it falls apart because they're so hard to get to. I, I if you start in a long distance relationship with someone accidentally, like you're playing WoW or whatever, and you meet someone and you start hanging out, and all of a sudden you're like in this relationship, you should have from the get go, or maybe just from early on in the relationship, some sort of long term plan. Like, hey, if we're still together in 3 years, like still doing this, we need to meet. Like, you should, when the relationship starts, you should put some sort of like, at this point, we should meet in person because I
I
can't.
don't know. I
I
don't
don't
know.
know.
I think
I don't know, man.
every relationship is different, but I think you should definitely like at a point where you're comfortable with each other, you should say, "Hey, we should meet." Like I'm not saying like it has to be established right at the beginning of the relationship. Hey, 3 years down the road, 2 years down the road, that kind of thing. But I do agree with you that at some point they need to meet,
But
at least.
there's so like
You know what?
my
Just
big
play your game for
hesitation.
3 months. Play your game for maybe 3 months. Go through the honeymoon phase online because there's a honeymoon phase to relationships. Let that pass. And if, after 3 or 4 or 5, 6 months, whatever, if you guys are still gaming and having a good time, loving each other's company, maybe then it's time to bring up, hey, maybe we should meet in real life. Maybe I should make a trip.
I
Or
guess
maybe you should make a trip.
where I'm coming from is if you is that interpersonal, like, okay, communication is more than just the words you're saying. Body language is a huge part of communication, and intonation of your voice is a massive part of, for example, what I could say, dude, dude. Those three words have completely different meanings depending on my intonation and my body language. I could. There's so many different things to do. If you're building a relationship based on text only, you're looking at like 10% of what that person is actually trying to say. You're looking at an important 10%, but there's a lot that gets lost in text. For example, I will like chat with people online, and then I'll go to an event and I'll meet those very people that I'm chatting online with, and my impression of them will be completely different. Or I'll chat with people online and then I'll bring them into a game that we're playing and I'll hear them on their mic and they're completely different. So my concern here is that gaming long distance relationships that never get past the game are dangerous because then you don't really know what you're dealing with and you end up in weird situations. If you're going to do this sort of thing, at least have voice communication. At the bare minimum, you should be Skyping or some sort of like video chatting at some point. If you cannot manage a video chat with your long distance relationship, there is no hope for it. Unless you just want to like talk to someone forever and die a lonely old person who has cats, which you can do. That's an acceptable option.
Why do they have to have cats, Neil?
You could have
What's wrong with
dogs.
having a lot of cats? No, well, here's my thing. This is what is more curious to me. Why do you set up this very specific set of circumstances to meet somebody? Why are you limiting yourself in such a way that you only want, or not that you only want to, but your preferred method of meeting people is through the internet and the gaming community? I feel like, I mean, people are picky. Some people are very picky, and I want you to be happy with the people, with the person that you end up with. Anybody, I want them to be happy. But there's I think you should maybe take some time to explore why you're wanting this very specific this very specific set of events to lead you to this outcome. Because I feel like when it comes to loving somebody or relationships, that love and caring about somebody can come from anywhere. You know, it can come from just, I don't know how many people in the chat have ever feel like they're in love or ever been in love. But the thing is that with a good majority of those people, I bet they didn't even know it was fucking happening. I bet they didn't even know it was like right around the corner, you know, like, oh my God. And so what I'm concerned about is that this person who's wrote this is maybe limiting or maybe not accepting. Again, we've talked about being open to relationships that are maybe happening or opportunities that are happening around her just because she feels comfortable in this very specific way of meeting people. So I would take some time and I would explore why you feel that way. And if you do decide to keep going in this very specific route, you should know that it's going to be very, very, very difficult for you. It's going to be difficult just because it's a difficult path. Not that it can't be done, and not that it is the wrong choice. I'm just saying that maybe you should explore why you're not more open to real life encounters with men, and that's my opinion on it. Cheers.
Cheers. Wait a minute, hold on. There's a follow-up email. It's not that I'm limiting myself. I feel like I make better connections there. Lol, Ello. Whether or not you are limiting yourself intentionally, if that's the only place you're looking, you are limiting yourself. Like,
yeah. You are limiting yourself. You're comfortable there, and that's fine. Again, I want you to be comfortable. You always want to be comfortable with what you're doing, but sometimes you need to teach yourself to be comfortable in new situations. And that's what we were talking about, being social with people and opening up to, social groups and learning to deal with rejection and all that stuff. These are all opening up avenues. But you are limiting yourself. You are. And again, it's not wrong. You're not wrong for doing this. I just, if you feel comfortable, that's the way you got to do it, then do it that way, by all means. But I'm just asking if you maybe explore some other options. But it's going to be tough for you. It's going to be very tough. A lot of long distance relationships don't work. There are very few that do. I would never ever say that they can't, because my parents are very happy. My mom and my stepdad are very happy, and they met online, not in a game, but they met online. And it's extremely tough. You're in a very tough situation. Again,
it can be done. It's hard.
Yeah,
it's a lot harder, and it's really easy to skip that personal. Like, do you mind saying whether your mom and her husband, your stepdad, like video chatted, or how often they met in person before?
Actually, I think at the time Skype wasn't a thing. I mean, this was when I was about 17. When was Skype released? I don't think that they were necessarily video chatting. They were just typing back and forth to each other in a chat, in a chat room, an exclusive chat room with each other,
But at some point they did make the jump from just chatting to phone calls into in-person.
Yeah, exactly. I think it was
how long that was?
I don't know specifically. I don't necessarily delve too much into my mother's love life, but at the same time, especially that young, things were kind of wacky back then. But I would say it was probably. I think it was probably about 2 or 3, 4 months of communication between them. I think like you said, there was an evolution of it where you start talking and then someone says, "Hey, can I call you?" And you start talking on the phone. I've met people online that I thought I was going to be romantic with, and then moved to a phone conversation, then, moved to this or that. And, we kept going on, and we were long distance, it was about 3 or 4 months of communication between them before my stepfather decided to, hey, I'm going to move down there and meet you. I want to see you. There's a lot. I want to stress this out for anybody who's considering a long distance relationship. Please heed these words. There is a lot. There are monumentous amounts of things that you learn about a person by being face to face.
Yeah.
Okay. Things you will never, ever, 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 ever know talking and chatting, even Skyping. You could talk and chat and Skype with somebody for, 80 years, 100 years, I feel like. And if in that time you get in front of each other,
You'll
It's
learn
gonna
something
you're
immediately
gonna
about them.
learn something immediately new. Many things that are immediately new about this person.
Hmm.
Things you would never consider, things you've never seen before about them.
Yeah.
Um,
So I mean, you can meet people in the gaming environment that's not online. There are gaming stores, like you can go play D&D at your local gaming store. You're going to meet the same sort of people that'll play WoW, but they're playing pen and paper. You can go to conventions, go to StarCraft conventions because StarCraft is clearly the best sort of video game convention out there. It's if you've ever been to one, you'll realize hands down StarCraft conventions are better than any other convention ever. Like StarCraft fans are the best people in the world. I recommend MLG Anaheim. It's really worth it. Or BlizzCon. It's also
I think
worth
that's
it.
a great point. Neil has an absolutely incredible point.
Meet gamers in real life in gaming related situations.
Yeah, go
Like
to PAX, man. Go
go to
to things.
PAX,
Yeah, go to
join your
things. Yeah.
college's video game club or your high school's video
Boom.
game club or just a video game club. Hey, there's no video game club. Boom. Meetup.com, create a video game club. Bring around people, talk about video games. Organize like weekly Mario Kart races at your house and then next week someone brings a new game and people you have a group that gets together once a week and plays video games together for a couple hours. That's open to anyone who wants to show up.
Again,
Boom. All of a
I
sudden a dude shows
stress.
up and you start dating him and you're happy forever.
Yeah, and you know, again, I'm not suggesting going out and looking for love. What I'm suggesting is participating and getting more involved with things that you already love,
Hmm.
and bringing a more social aspect to that. Because when you start getting involved with clubs, you start going to these conventions, you start getting more involved with the gaming community, you start building relationships with these people. Since I started streaming, my some of my personal relationships have degraded. You know, people that I'm not hanging out with them as normal, but I have gotten to know an immense amount of people from all over the world that I've really gotten. I've gone to conventions and I got to meet them in person. You know, Neil and I met at a convention. Neil and I, and we're in love. So the thing is that like it can happen for you, but. I really that's a great point, Neil.
Yeah.
What an insightful point. Well done.
Yeah, because you and I, perfect situation. Ello and I played Mafia a few times together way back when, but that was pretty much it until we met at PAX East. Moment that we meet at PAX East, we decide to play D&D together. Now there's a D&D show coming out in a month and a half. Starring
We're gonna be
Ellohime.
doing D&D together. Like he invited me back to his room, and I was uncomfortable, and I said no. But since then, you know,
Yeah. And,
he might have sent him some threatening emails and was like, "Please get on my show, or I'll, you know,
or
attack
I mean,
you
hey,
or
look,
stalk you."
Christopher
But
Robinson and I managed to organize this. He's got he's taking care of the side things on your stream of the side of the stream. I'm taking care of things on this side.
plot
The
twist.
crossover mod really helps, or with the blackmailing.
Yeah. You know, plot twist. I mean, Neil was talking to our wedding planner earlier, not him and his wife, but it's all relative. We're okay. This is a perfect example of love in a gaming situation. You
I'm
know.
glad that you're finally okay for us to announce this because I've been. It's been hard pretending that I have a fiance and
I
keeping her off
know.
camera and like.
Yeah, that person you hired. Man, I felt so bad that you had to spend money on that actress.
Oh
That
God,
like
it's so bad because then occasionally, every now and then, you have to be like, hold on, my fiance is here. Then you mute yourself
yeah.
and you pretend to have a
I do
conversation
the
when
same thing
there's a
with
shut
Cora.
door.
Cora's a
Yeah.
paid actor. I pretended to have a kid. Why were we doing it? Neil, touch my hand.
Woo!
Neil, touch my hand.
Boom.
There we go.
All right, that's been it for LoveBytes, guys. Because speaking of D&D, if you stick around in probably the next 5 minutes, although Ryan's still in the car right now, so maybe like 10, 15 minutes, we have Dicing with Death coming up in just a few moments. Dicing with Death is the D&D show that I do with my childhood friend Ryan. We've been playing since I was in junior high. We've got been playing for 15, 16 years now. It's a fantastic show. It is the best D&D show on Twitch. It will be the second best D&D show on Twitch starting in December when Ellohime joins us with Sir Scoots and Jordan and Shannon for Age of Strife.
Dude, that's gonna be so much fun. Oh man, that's gonna be nice. But you're very kind.
On that note, Ellohime, why don't you tell these fine, wonderful people who you are and where they can find you?
I'm a hobo. You can find me behind Walmart most mornings. In the evenings too is when they throw out the best stuff. No, I stream on Twitch. I'm a streamer. I'm actually probably going to go right after this and start my stream. Play maybe a little bit of Daisy. I'm hoping to get into some Evolve tonight. Maybe early on in the morning when they actually let the PC players in because it's Xbox One time. Anyways. But I stream on Twitch. I I am on a stream challenge right now where I actually stream every day for 30 days. Where that stream actually falls in because I have a baby. Sometimes it's in the evening, like tonight. Sometimes it's in the morning. I typically stream very awkward hours. Think 3 in the morning Eastern time until about 10 noon o'clock. It's a very awkward time. I've got a lot
Those are
of
like my
European
prime
viewers and
streaming
stuff.
hours, dude.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like
Yeah,
I like
yeah.
the late night streams, man. Yeah.
Yeah, we like to have a lot of fun. There's a lot of comedy usually, but mostly I'm pretty interactive with my chat. I like to just hang out and meet people. So you guys are more than welcome to come check it out anytime. Thanks, Neil, for the shameless self plug.
No, not a problem, man. We'd love to have you here.
Thanks, man.
All right. With that said, I will see some of you who are going to go watch Ellohime. I won't see you guys. You're going to go check him out right now because he's going to start a stream. I'm going to
Yeah,
do
that competition. Sorry, man. I didn't mean to step on any toes there, but
No, are you kidding?
Oh.
There's the people that want to watch D&D, and then there's the dregs of society.
Yeah, exactly. And we'll go celebrate in our
Yeah. You guys can go be,
in our slums. We will.
Yeah, exactly. You can go live behind the Walmart with Ellohime, while the rest of you can come and live in an ivory tower with elves and dwarves having sex with me and Ryan.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean it's really just kind of how.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much how it goes.
Right.
I want to say not only thank you to Neil for having me on the broadcast, but also to the chat as well. Thank you guys for having me, and thank you guys for being so welcoming. I really appreciate it. I've always loved Neil's community over here. In fact, I remember when Neil was doing Mafia, and I sent him an email, and I was like, "Please let me play," because I wanted to be a part of what you guys were doing so bad. So really respect you guys. You guys did incredible work during the Intel competition, and I'm very, very, very proud to be on this broadcast. So thank you.
Thank you. All right, guys, that's it. Everyone give Ellohime a big round of applause and go watch him. See you guys later.
All right.